On the seventh day, God rested, and he was happy. He looked down upon his creation and knew that he did good. God also recognized that on occasion Eve would talk too much, so God created motorcycles. God wanted to increase Adam's enjoyment of the motorcycle, but knew that he was all alone. So shortly in the late afternoon of day 7, God created the Law-Abiding Biker podcast.
OMG, dude, you pulled that straight out.
As John O'Keefe would say, you pulled that right out of your arse.
Dude, I love bringing you an Oscar because you always bring something to the table.
He's a man of mystery.
He is. Welcome to all our fellow bikeaholics out there. Thanks for returning to another loaded episode. This is the podcast for what? Who's this for, Matt?
The MM.
The motorcycle majority, the
99%.
All right, that's right. Let's get into this thing, guys. We got an awesome podcast in store for you guys.
They're all awesome.
Every single one of them.
Well, everyone I've been on, the other ones suck.
Wow. Where's the love for the homies?
I'm kind of a big deal around here.
No doubt, dude. That's ridiculous. Welcome to the Lab Podcast. This is Ryan Urlacher, your host of the Law-Abiding Biker Podcast, and your
high-tech redneck.
Sweet. And studio right, we do have the one, the only, Lurch. How you doing there, Lurch?
Outstanding. Like a farmer in his field.
Sweet.
Outstanding.
Studio left. It's been a while, but we do have the man, the myth, the legend, and the guy that read from the book of Genesis. Although I don't have a copy of that exact book, but I like it.
Is that the King James version?
There's actually no second book of Genesis. I might have made that up.
Oh, the second book. Gotcha.
Yeah. It was at the beginning. It started that way.
I absolutely like it, and we had no idea Oscar was going to do that. So studio left is Oscar, and he really pulled that out of his arse. And he did. Did he even read a script, dude?
No.
No, he just. That's awesome, dude. Love it.
I prepped for the last 5 minutes.
Now, every time Oscar comes to the studio, we're going to expect something great opener like that. Because you just got a niche for it, dude.
If he keeps it up, we're going to have to change his nickname. Call him the Reverend or something.
Yeah, that may be. That may be.
Machine Gun Preacher.
Or Father.
You know what, Matt? You did not start the studio timer, so you better start that. Because
nobody told me it was my responsibility to do that.
It is. It's by you.
By me. It's between us, man.
Grab that timer off the wall and start
excuse me while I go off microphone for a moment.
All right. So anyways, guys, we do have a loaded episode for you guys today. This is real quick, and I'm telling you today, we're going to get right into our main topic because we really can spend the entire episode talking about this. Again, thank you for all your support, guys, and buying the videos and the donations coming in. We will be giving some thanks for those. Maybe not get to it this episode, and I am getting so many emails. I apologize if I respond to you, but I apologize if we're to the point now where we're getting so many emails and stuff that I kind of have to put them on the back burner and hope to get to them in an episode down the road. But I do respond to you, so please don't take offense to that. It's just it's awesome. The response is awesome, and so yeah, keep them coming in. We will get to them. So, anyways, Oscar, what do you have to say? Anything before we get started here?
Can we get some romantic flames going on in here?
We can, but it might get a little warm.
Isn't that the point?
Yeah, it's different than what is sweat yoga, hot yoga?
Hot yoga.
Yeah,
it'll cure your ills and your ails.
So if you're gonna turn that fireplace on, you need to let me know so I can get down to my BVDs.
Yeah, dude.
Whoa, what kind of podcast is this?
It gets a little hot in here.
We are definitely not starting I have a fireplace in the studio here, an electric fireplace, but we're not starting it. So our main topic today, we are obviously all full-time LEOs, law enforcement officers here with unspecified agencies that do this podcast. We also are all members of the Sworn Few Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club. And so, although we've never to this date dedicated an entire episode to the Sworn Few Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club, I felt it necessary to do so. And that is based on the fact that we've been getting a lot of chapter requests or people interested in joining the Sworn Few Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club. So what I'm going to do is simply make this podcast all about, because what I do right now is send out a forum email, and it answers a lot of the questions that people may have. And but I think it's more personal if they hear us talking about it and kind of what we're about and why we do some of the things we do. So this episode, and I'm going to make a permanent link to this episode. Obviously, you can go to lawabidingbiker.com/ in the episode number, but I'm also going to make a permalink to it, which will be lawabidingbiker.com / chapter request. And the reason we're dedicating this whole episode to that is so I can refer people that have chapter requests from all over, even out of country who had them. I'm just going to refer them to this link and say, listen to the podcast. And if you're still interested after that, email us your phone number and we will put you in touch with a Sworn Few Mother Chapter officer and we can talk further. So I'm trying to think, did I miss anything at the opener kind of there, Matt, that we're just kind of telling people, why we're doing this? I do think, if you're not interested in this, well then, shut her down. But I really think that even if you're not interested in joining, this is going to speak to a lot of law-abiding biker clubs this episode. It's not just about law enforcement club. I think you're going to get an insight about how we roll with new chapter requests, and maybe some insight into how you can improve your way that you do your law-abiding biker club. And even if you're not in a club, then it may help you understand clubs and some of the things that people have to go through to get in a solid club. I mean, there are some clubs that anybody can join, but for the most part. So I think it's going to be a really interesting episode, so I encourage you to stick around. I think everybody, all law-abiding bikers, will get something out of this episode. But I will let you know straight off the bat, it's going to be geared towards the Sworn Few Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club and some of the requirements and some of the things you might want to think about.
Did you mention that we only accept full-time paid or retired law enforcement officers?
That would be very good. So, yeah.
Well, and not only that, but I think this speaks to people who like to ride who aren't in a club and why you may want to start a club.
True. Because there are a lot of clubs popping up, which, and a lot of just law-abiding biker clubs. It's kind of free market right now for that, and it's not like it used to be where you could only start a club, or how people thought it was if you're a 1%er and all these permissions and crap. That's kind of went out the door for the most part, and so I see a lot of just regular law-abiding biker clubs popping up, which is really cool. Yeah, but like Matt says, awesome. Yeah, that would be the first thing. What do you mean by retired? We only accept full-time paid.
Right.
So unfortunately, we're talking about volunteer or reserves. We just, it's, and I want you guys to know out there, the law-abiding biker audience, that this is nothing personal. We support all law-abiding biker clubs. This is just simply, we're in law enforcement, we're full-time LEOs, and so we have a particular standard, and we can be held accountable for things we do off duty, even though we're not on duty. And we can get really deep into that, which we won't. So we felt that it was best if we started a club that was purely paid law enforcement that has to hold the same standards that we're held to, regardless of what agency you're with. And so it certainly doesn't mean we don't support your clubs if you have a mixed club. That is just what we did, and we're not saying everybody should have a full firefighters club or a full veterans club. It really doesn't matter to me. That's just what we chose to do. So that's just where we're coming from.
And it works for us because then we're all doing the same job, have the same thought processes, and can relate well to each other. And off duty, it's nice to be able to get together with a group of guys that that understand you. And I'm not saying we sit and talk about work, but if you're having a bad day or whatever, they totally get it because they've been through the same things that I've been through. So it's just comforting hanging out with my brothers.
Yep. And accountability is huge. And we all know we're held accountable and to a specific standard. And so we don't even have to worry about that within the club as far as who we select. So what say you, Oscar, straight up before we get in off that subject of who we accept?
Well, on a practical note, guys who are full-time, you can count on them having rotating shifts, and everyone understands that.
Right.
And that's an important part if you're working with a group of guys that are working civilian jobs that are working 8 to 5. The club becomes oriented around the 8 to 5 kind of lifestyle. So it's a lot easier to belong to a club where it's nothing but LEOs because we all know we're working rotating shifts and we're just going to have to live with it, and we work around it pretty well, actually.
Right. Very good point. And, the key is, and even if you have an all veterans club or whatever, I get it. I have no problem with that because you guys, whether it's combat vets or whatever, they've been to combat or whatever, and they share something that none of us that a lot of us don't share. So that's where you see a lot of clubs, but you do see a lot of civilian clubs popping up now that are not 1% and are law-abiding bikers, and it's really cool. So, and I don't know what each clubs. I'll tell you guys straight off. For those of you who are listening, and you may be listening in several years from now because you're going to get this for a chapter request, but we're a very, very strict club about who we accept. I will just tell you right off, and then you guys can pipe in. We absolutely could care less about numbers. We don't care about how many chapters we get. And we don't say this I want people not to think that we're saying this in a cocky, arrogant way. It's not meant that way at all. We are very open to quality brothers and members. However, that will not be handed to you whatsoever. Just because you're an LEO does not give you, and you went through an academy, does not mean you are cut out to be in a motorcycle club. And we found that because we do have some experience with 2 different clubs now. You have something to say? Jump in anytime you want.
The difference between our prior club and this club is the other one, anybody could join as long as you had a badge. Yeah, you can fill out the application, send in your money, and get the patch. In the beginning, we started it, so our group was small, and we all got along and enjoyed each other's company. But as it grew, I'm not saying that we had any problems within the group. It's just that we liked certain people more than others, and cliques started to evolve. So the plan is, obviously, with this club, you can't buy your way in, so you've got to spend some time with us, and we got to get to know you. We want to be able. We want you. You better be the guy that I can sit down with and hang out with and drink a beer with and enjoy your company. And it's not just because you're a police officer, because of the person that you are.
Amen.
So
well said.
That's kind of why we're staying small, and I know we'll grow in time, but we're not going to rush it just because we want to keep a tight brotherhood and a really good understanding of each other.
Yep. A little insight is, and Matt said it really, really well, is we work with a lot of officers, and I'm just telling you, a very small insight into law enforcement. Just because we work with somebody doesn't mean that we want to hang out with them off duty. There's just we all work with people, and I know Oscar can attest to this too. There's just some people you like better than others. It doesn't mean we're not going to be professional on duty and we're not going to help each other and work together. It just means when I'm off duty, I really want nothing to do with that person because I don't really care for his personality or whatever.
Sure. If you're a civilian and you work in a business office, would you want to hang out with everybody that is a coworker of yours? I guarantee you not.
There's some people that rub you wrong.
Right, and there's probably a handful of people that you really like.
Oh, geez.
Okay, hold on. We just went off the track.
That's why we have Oscar in the studio.
Now, are we talking
Someone
about
said on top,
massages?
and someone said rub you wrong. I'm like, what do we?
He's got to talk in his mic. He keeps looking at you and talking.
I can't help it.
You got to put your mouth on it and then
You got to
look
stay.
my way.
Does that come before?
You got to use your peripheral vision.
Put your mouth on it, now look my way.
Oh God.
I can't
Okay.
even better.
So you can look out of your corner of your eyes at Matt, but you can't actually look at him and talk to him. So where were you going, Matt?
I'm just trying to put it in perspective.
Please
that
do.
Just because you have the same job doesn't mean you're all going to get along. And while I would run to any of my brothers and sisters in my agency or any other agency that needed my help, I'd be there in a second to help them out. Doesn't mean I'm going to sit down and have a beer with them and have a chat. So
Right.
it's the same thing. Imagine, like I said, if you're working in a office of some type and you have several employees, you're not going to get along with all of them. You're going to get along with some of them.
Absolutely. You've got to earn and I think it's for everybody. It doesn't even matter if it's a motorcycle club. You have to earn my trust and respect. And not everybody I work with that I'm going to bring into my home to meet my wife and kids. It doesn't mean it's personality differences. It's not that I trust me, I have no problem with the people I work with, and professional and on duty is on duty, and we all back each other up and we're all brothers there. But like Matt says, doesn't necessarily mean that, like it's an office, it's somebody that you want to bring home to meet your wife and your kids and get real. You just can't do that with everybody, number one. And, so I guess the point is that's why we're extremely selective. And
we don't even talk about work much
No.
when we're hanging out. We're talking about bikes.
The unique thing about the Sworn Few LEMC right now, very briefly, is that we are all, what's funny is from different agencies. We are, except for the North Big River crew who just patched in.
Same agency.
But isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I never even thought about that.
And now there's guys that I work with, and I'm sure we all work with, that they may think about it but be interested, but they kind of know who we are and standards and things, and so I foresee it in the future, but we've been pretty cautious just about
we've been laying low.
We've been laying low and how fast we grow, and I just want to say, and Oscar knows, he knows because he prospected with the mother chapter and has fully patched in now, and maybe he can talk a little bit about that. But we absolutely do not care if we grow. If we grow and there's a cool chapter or a crew of guys, we're all for that. So please understand, we're all for that. However, if I stayed the mother chapter and we just had the big river for the next 10 years, I don't care.
Yeah, fine me.
If we grow, it's going to be because they were an awesome group of guys and they worked their tails off to prove to us that they wanted to be. So you can be rest assured when you're out there and you're riding your motorcycle, if you see somebody wearing the full Sworn Few rocker, they are truly the few, and they are sworn law enforcement officer. Not to sound dorky there, but
that's okay. You did a little bit.
Yeah, but it is.
I hear what you're saying.
It is what it is. Yeah, and so you can rest assured that nothing that person has was given to him.
No,
it was earned through blood, sweat, and tears.
Well, and I know I've ridden with a lot of people, and I put together some rides with quite a few bikes, and you just let anyone in to ride, and you never know what you're going to get. Oh. And so you get a group where crazy stuff happens. When you start vetting the riders, then you can get a group you can count on. And so I've ridden with a lot of people, and one of the things I've told guys that ask me about the club is I'm like, this is a group of guys that rides. We ride tight. I can count on everyone to ride a certain way. And I fit in with that style of riding, because you can ride with 20 different guys and they do 20 different things, and it gets dangerous at some point. And if you get too big and you just allow anyone with a bike and a gun to come ride, you spend more time managing the group than you do anything else.
I get frustrated every time we do a group ride with other non-club individuals. Even when we had our previous club, we had so many people, and some of them really weren't the best riders. And I'm not saying I'm the best by any means, but
we ride enough together. We understand each other.
I might ride a little slower. I'm a little more cautious than some of the other guys, but I keep in my own lane, and you can trust me not to hit you. But that last ride, I think the ride you're talking about, maybe you'll get a little more into it. But we had several different skill levels in there. The two that were leading were either they were going, I don't know, they weren't even going the speed limit. It seemed like most of the time they're going under, and they're taking turns swapping back and forth between being the leader. And I explained to him, you're screwing up the rest of the package when you decide you want to be leading. He's on the left. He needs to be in front. He's leading. Do not pass him. And then we had a couple of sport bikes. Not that it's matter. Not that it was about the sport bikes, but some of the sport bike riders were screwing around in the middle of the pack. And as soon as we split off from that and got in our group and we started leading, I felt so much better.
Yeah, I learned a lot from those big rides. And then after riding with you guys, I'm like, wow. I mean, I still do that, but really vetting out the riders as part of the club makes a big difference.
Which is a huge part of the Sworn Few LEMC. It's not necessarily a requirement up front to be just a great rider, and we're not clearly. I don't want to sound arrogant here at all. We're not the best rider, so like some world-renowned riders, but we do ride. We're very skilled, and part of being in this club is you do go through a skills course, and we set it up, and you will learn how to ride. You will learn how to ride professional. You will learn how not to drag your feet at slow speeds and look sloppy, and you will park a certain way. And we're very militaristic, and we when we come in, we want to look sharp. We want to stand out. We want to be professional. We are police officers, even off duty, and we don't want to look like a bunch of slobs. And
you can ride with your hair on fire, but can you go really slow and make the turns and keep your feet on?
Anybody can ride fast. Yeah. We know that anybody can ride fast. A lot of people don't know slow speed maneuvering, which is where people look sloppy and where a lot of people dump their bikes and stuff. So we do have requirements for that, but that's a long ways in. But just understand, you will ride to a certain level, and we have to be sure that you can meet that level. So
we got time for you to talk about that ride and what drew you to us, or do we not?
We don't. Okay. Unfortunately, that's another episode. And here's the deal. Okay, cool. I got this awesome email, and I'm not going to look it up right now, from a guy, but I have a whole other episode. I think I even have it on this notes here. I don't know what episode it's going to be, but it's all about, he wants to know he has a club and he wants to know all about how the Sworn Few MC ride, and do we have positions, and how close do we ride, because he's having a problem within his club.
Oh, I was just talking about what drew him to us when he showed up on that ride. I'm going to make a note. Yeah, we'll do that another time.
No, we might have time for it at the end of the episode, but I want to get, because this is going to be a referral episode.
You've got a plan. Gotcha.
And I really want
He's
people.
our leader.
Yeah. Well, I want people to know, I guess the episode is about what it takes and what you should.
I'm going off tangent.
Yeah,
I catch you.
So
that happens
It
sometimes.
does.
On
It
these
usually does. He's it's like herding cats.
it is
Tries to
really.
keep us in line.
I do.
Okay,
I
well,
do.
herd away, sir.
Okay. So, anyways, that would I guess that gives a little bit of an overview about what we're talking about, who we accept. Of course, let's move on to, and I would just want to say, you guys that do email us, we are very flattered. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
When you are interested in our club, and that is I guess we don't recruit at all.
No.
And we don't go out on YouTube and recruit. We don't ask anybody to join the club. Everybody that's in this club came to us.
Right.
And said, we like what we see. We researched you. We want to know more.
Right.
Feed us.
Yep.
That's how the North crew got, because they're like, feed us. We really like what we see, but we want to know a lot more. And then we start the relationship. And so just understand, it's
strictly platonic.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I like it. Very
We're talking
good.
about rubbing one out.
Yes.
Speaking about the Big River crew, the first time they met us, at the time, the four of us were leading the package, and they were back behind us, and they were sold once they rode with us and saw how we rode.
I was sold.
They were hooked. They're like, "Yep, sounds good."
Yeah, Oscar. That was
Can I
one of the
sign
big
up?
things he said. Is finally people that can ride like me. So, but like I say, not everybody. I'm not going to name any names. Came in and they've improved a lot. And but that comes through. You have to practice riding together, and you have to do low speed drills. And a lot of these clubs just get together, and it's just real sloppy. So that's okay. That's just something we're not gonna do. It doesn't mean we look down on you for it. It doesn't mean we think we're better than you. It is how we run this club. So we don't recruit. That's one point I want to get across. So that is a first sign, I would say, wouldn't you, Matt?
The fact that you sought us out and tried to contact
That you actually
us
you found a way to contact us, which
there's
is
something that we're doing that's turning you on. So maybe you are a bit like us.
right.
Yeah.
Or here's the other side to that.
He's excited because I said turn you on.
Oh,
You turned me on a little bit. Sorry,
Oscar.
just a little bit.
I have that effect not on only just women, but sometimes men. It's inadvertent. I don't try it. I'm not into it, but sometimes it's like universal. Everybody just gets excited.
Oh,
Just make it stop. Just make it stop.
So we on that note, we do not what did I say last, guys? Do you remember? Neither of you remember. So
the Matt turned people on.
yeah, that's not what I
we were
remember.
talking about. People contacting us.
Oh, yes, as a first sign.
Right. Good sign.
So yeah, the fact that you sought us out, and there's several ways to contact if you're interested in a chapter, and that is swornfewmc.com/contact, and there's an email and a voicemail. That's how most people request chapters. So we have that. What's next, Matt? You want to go with it, or you want me to keep going?
I have to hit the button to go back to where we were. Let me look. Waiting.
I will just say a first sign of a person's character is that they sought out the Sworn Few MC, and we didn't, like I said, we don't recruit. So that tells us, okay, what I was going to say is the flip side to that is there are a lot of shoppers out there for an easy patch. And we're not that. I'll tell you that right now. So if you're looking and you're shopping around and you're sending emails to multiple different clubs and you're looking for an easy patch, we are not the club for you, because it will not come easy. So I have seen both very serious people request, and you can tell right away usually whether it's an easy patch, because
they want to be a nomad.
You don't hear they want to be a nomad, which that's an awesome segue into that. Or you email them and then you never hear from them again, because they're like, okay, I guess they're not giving out their patches.
Right.
So I'll just get that out in the air.
Some of the ones you've gave me to contact, I've before we started giving out the form email, I wrote something similar to them. It just wasn't formalized, and I didn't ever hear back from them.
And there was a couple on Facebook, because we will tell you real quick, because we're not going to get into this too much, but we do extensive background checks on our members. So just understand.
Not using the criminal justice system. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, social media,
Google.
etc. Phone calls, getting to know them.
The funny thing is we get way more information off the internet than we could get off our systems anyways.
Sure.
So we're in your Facebook, we're in your Twitter, we're all over Google. We pay a couple services to do background checks on you. Just because you're a cop, like I said, we want to know what kind of person you are. We may talk to people that you may know, but
you may get in our phones and stuff. Because that happened to me.
Yep. Well, that's because I am the high-tech redneck.
It only takes one person to bring the whole thing down, and we're really trying hard to avoid that.
And so just understand, like Matt says, absolutely 100% against all our department policies to use any of our work computers to look up and use our systems. That's not what I'm talking about. No, we use the internet, which is way more for what we're doing.
The magic box
is way more appropriate. Well, we have seen a couple, which is interesting. A couple that requested a chapter from us, and then all of a sudden we saw on their Facebook page
they belong to another club.
They have no, they don't even belong, but they're displaying a patch to another club. So okay, that's what we call, folks, a shopper.
Patch shopping,
and that gets the old from the Sworn Few MC. If you're shopping, then go shop and buy your patch, and don't be proud of what you belong to. But whatever. So let's move to anything, Oscar.
There is a club.
You got to jump in, bro.
If you're going to shop, go to the mall.
Yeah, boy.
There was a club established in the 70s in the East Coast, and you could just buy your patches, go see them. Nothing wrong with that club, but...
Exactly.
Maybe Costco sells patches.
Yep. So anyways, so that speaks a lot to us, is that you contact us, and then, like I say, from now on is just going to be a permalink to this episode. So just understand, guys, we do have very strict internal policies, and we have very thorough procedures on how we handle new chapter requests. We've come up with a formula, and it works. What say you, Matt, on that? I mean, we wrote bylaws, and now that we've had a lot of chapter requests, it pretty much gets forwarded to you, me, and now Oscar, who is the treasurer, since he's fully patched in of the Sworn Few. Now it goes to the mother chapter, and refer them to this is what we're going to do. But yeah, what do you have to say about our, policies and procedures and anything on that? You guys got to jump in on this, because I've got my notes that I gave you, so you can.
After I read through, I was really surprised how strict and tight everything was. It was a little unexpected at first, and as I read through it and kind of saw the vision, I was impressed and a lot more hopeful. This wasn't just kind of a ragtag group of dudes that wanted to ride to a bar and, maybe we can ride, maybe we can't. It's actually an organization
centered on riding motorcycles.
Keep talking on your mic, Oscar.
Yeah, motorcycles, because we're a bike club.
Yeah.
I was just going to.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at. We're not a social club; we're a bike club.
I was getting there.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to
interrupt you. I'm chubby and slow. You got to give me some time.
No, I'm just trying to have a conversation with you.
Why
if you'd like me to just sit here and be quiet, I can do that.
I can't even look over there now.
No, you can't. Out of the corner of your eyes.
That's why when you tried to sit in my seat, I said, get out.
Or if you're going to look at him a lot, turn your chair into your mic.
I was getting there too. You guys are way too fast for me.
I've got my mic set up so that I can look left and look right, and I can see you both. You might have to turn your chair a little bit. I can't figure this out.
All right, back on track. If you guys do, that's all right. Because we look where we are, dude, and we have so much information. So if you guys want to join an existing chapter now or in the future of the Sworn Few MC, just go to swornfewmc.com/chapters, or just hover over the chapters menu, and it'll have a drop down of the chapters. And please contact that chapter. Don't contact them if you want to, join a chapter in another state or somewhere else. Just use that drop down. Go directly to there. I have a page. We have one website, but each chapter I create a page for. I do all the web design and stuff. And you can find out about that chapter. They all have a contact page. So if you just want to become a member, is what I'm getting at, of a particular chapter, then contact that chapter. If you want to start a actual crew and a new chapter, then that all has to go through the mother chapter. So you can just go to the main website and hit the contact button. But because if you do contact your nearest chapter so you can start a new chapter, then they're going to direct it to us anyways, because it all has to go through the mother chapter. So.
Hey, put me back on path here. What note are we on so that I can catch up with you?
Well, we're on episode 1.
Well, I know that.
And then just scroll down to where, I'm here. If you want to join an existing chapter, you'll catch up.
Okay.
So here's the deal. This is why we made a podcast. Is there's just absolutely too much information to relate in an email. And so when I email you guys, when you request chapters, and I'm not going to do that anymore, as I've stated, you're going to get to listen to this podcast, and that'll be another show how interested you are, is take the time to listen to this episode. But it really requires a phone follow-up, from a mother chapter officer. You know what I mean, Matt? We can't just,
right.
I can send you an email, but you really need to listen to this whole episode. And then if you're interested and you still think you really want to be with the Sworn Few Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club, then you got to follow up with your phone number, because a mother chapter officer is going to call.
You just can't get enough dialogue in the email, and things aren't understood right. And it's just better to have a phone call and speak with each other and answer all the questions. The email back and forth or Facebook just isn't going to cut it. We need to talk to you.
Yeah, that can go on for 3 weeks back and forth.
Sure.
Well, what about this? Well, what about that? How about we just call each other for an hour? I get a feel for you, you get a feel for me, and I just answer all your questions. I do not have time to email back and forth and answer all the club questions. If you're interested, just call. That's what people do. We call each other, and that's the first sign, is whether you're going to call and have a man-to-man conversation.
That's a little bit of a commitment. Hey, spend an hour of your time on the phone.
If you want it, you'll call.
Right.
If not, then find somebody that's easy to get their patches, because we're not going to give them to you. But like I said, don't take it as arrogant. We do want quality brothers, but we're just going to be very selective about that. So, you got to leave a callback phone number. That was one of the biggest deals if you are truly interested in the club. Because that will be our first request after you contact us. Okay, if you're interested, let's set a time, and it may be Lurch, it may be LD, it may be Oscar, it may be me.
Just depends on our schedule,
right?
And who's available. We all work different shifts.
We all trust each other to screen.
Yeah, we share the work.
Yep. We want to hear what you're about. Why do you want to be with us? And, we're going to ask you some questions on the phone, and what do you think we're about? And, what do you know about us? And we really want to see your persona. So understand real quick, and we're going to move on here, Matt, to the next line.
Oh, I've caught up. You'll be proud of me.
All right, you want to go with the next, understand the commitment and process and all that?
And I had to hit the buttons and back up.
Oh, well, just understand that I just want everybody out there to understand. Well, you can go to Oscar. You just got to jump in. But that, and Oscar can attest to this, what kind of, briefly, what kind of commitment and process I think you would understand that it's, by now, you fully patched in, that it is quite a process and commitment to get in, to make it all the way to full patch.
It really was, and it was a little daunting at first, and I thought, wow. My only experience had been with a buy-a-patch, and so I was like, wow, am I going to be able to do this? And
buyaclubpatch.com.
Buy a club
We're
patch.
constantly calling you and messaging you and group me and you and telling you get over here. And
I had to show up places with panties on my head. No, that was different. That was in college. It was challenging. I had to be patient. I put in quite a bit of work, but it was worth every penny, and I wouldn't change anything.
And it's fair to say, Oscar, that yes, it's a hard process, and we give you tasks and we give you things to do, but I want everybody to understand out there, nothing we do obviously is illegal or degrading.
No hazing.
There's no hazing in this club.
We're just checking your commitment level.
We're checking your commitment level, and you will be assigned things to do, proper legal things, and there'll be projects, and you'll have to make rides, and we have to see how. So, and you don't know when you're going to get your patch. We'll tell you, throw that out there. What's our deal on that? We
got a minimum of a 6 month, for all extensive purposes, a probationary period, a get to know you period, and nobody's going to, no matter how much we like you in the beginning, nobody's going to make it sooner than 6 months. So it's at least 6 months,
and
longer.
And I will say, go ahead.
Longer. You can actually screw up and buy extra time.
And you guys did,
yeah,
a couple of times.
That's the joke that goes around. Oop, that's a month. That's a month.
Gonna be 2 months. I got that regularly.
And I will say, Oscar, that you guys, even though you guys were on fire, I mean, you guys really, really wanted to wear this patch, but it still took you guys a year.
It took a long time. It seemed like
so we
forever.
didn't do the 6 months with you guys.
No.
Am I right with that?
Well, it was just over 6 months officially, but they hung out with us for a while before that.
That's what I'm getting at. Why don't you talk?
Closer to like 9, 10
there
months?
there was a
because we do have let's break this down real quick for our audience. We do have, let's talk about regular members that want to join an existing chapter
what's
quickly.
going to take them start to finish?
Well, I would say there's a hang around period. That's how it starts,
for
right?
lack of a better word, yeah.
And there's no time limit
There's
on
no
it.
time limit on that. We just get to know you. We'll invite you on rides. We'll invite you to social gatherings, and we want to get to know you. Once we think you're our kind of guy, we like you, then we can move into the official status of a probationary.
There you
period.
go. And that's a minimum of
That's
6 months.
minimum of 6 months.
That's what I wanted to clear up.
Right.
Thank you.
Good point.
Now, if you want to start a new chapter, it's similar, and you start out, and I want you guys to know, and this is what some people don't know, and they get email questions back and forth. When you start, if we allow you to start, and you're really interested, you're not going to start as a prospective chapter. You're going to start as what we call a support crew.
Support crew.
Talk a little bit about that and what kind of paraphernalia they can wear and things like that.
When we started, well, I'll use the Big River Crew as an example.
I said paraphernalia.
That's the only one we have.
I let that go.
That's a reason. We could have more.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there's a reason that we went with the Big River Crew. One, our brother LD already knew who is now the president up there, Leroy. Knew him, so we had an idea of him to start with, and they were close. We didn't want to start a chapter that was too far away that we really couldn't keep our hands on and bring along. They're only 2 hours away. Beautiful ride in between here and there, so that worked out very well for us for our first chapter. But they started out as what we call a support crew, and they started a Facebook page so that closed that just them and we could view to keep track of what they were doing. They purchased
and see if they'd put themselves out there to us.
Right.
Show us what you're doing and show us how much you want to be with this. And so they can wear support gear, right?
They bought support gear, and they apparently, according to LD, because again he's friends with the P up there, Leroy, Popeye. They were living in that stuff. They were wearing it everywhere. I mean, they really
posting pictures, sending group me's.
Yep. We required them to be very. Again, it was a closed page, so not everybody could see it. It was just the mother officers and them that could see it, and it would give us a way to converse and see what they were doing. But if they went out for a ride, we wanted them taking pictures. We wanted to put it on there so that we could see it, because we couldn't always be there to witness it.
Yep, absolutely. And I do have Popeye coming down, and maybe somebody else from up there in another episode to talk about their experiences and some of the things that we tasked them with. And so, I think
it'd be beneficial for the listening audience to listen to what they have to say as a group. And then, I like what Oscar here has to say about being an individual, prospective member too, and what he went through.
Absolutely. So just understand, guys, that you will start out if we like you and we like your crew. Now, why don't you talk about that? 4 to 6 members. That's what it takes. Okay. So to start out, if we allow you to be, where we're like, yeah, why don't you start a support crew? We like your crew. Why don't you start support crew status, where you can wear a support t-shirt and you start to get to know us. You start your Facebook page, and we send you letters. We walk you through all this, but there have been some that just they don't make it very far because it shows their level of commitment.
Some of them don't make it past the first email.
Right. A lot. Yeah, true. Because they're like, we can't buy their patches. So, but just understand, you're going to need straight up, if you're going to start a chapter, at least 4, no more than 6 brothers.
3 would be tough. More than 6 is just get too many people involved. So 4 to 6 is perfect.
Because if you become full chapter status,
you got to start looking at officers.
Then you can. Once you become full chapter status, we trust you so much at that point because you've been through so much and we patched you. Like now I trust the Big River. They can bring on members as they see fit.
And that was not that
right.
I didn't feel that way in the beginning. I needed to get to know those guys and share the philosophy. And there's a couple bumps along the way.
Oh,
There's
yes.
no doubt about it. I think that they'd be honest with you.
They would.
But I now am at the point where any of those guys, if they voted somebody in, I would feel good about that.
I won't even.
Not only would I
blink.
not be concerned that person is a good person or wouldn't do something stupid to ruin the image of our club, I also have a feeling that I'm going to be brothers with them because they are. If those guys like him, I'm going to like him.
Absolutely.
That's deep.
It is. And I told him that.
Thanks, Lurch.
Thank you.
When I talked to him is now, there's such a process that they understand. They work so hard to earn what they will do nothing to ruin. They work so hard to get what they have and get that patch, and they understand what that represents. And I wouldn't even bat an eye if they give the blessing. And so that's why we roll as strong as we do at the beginning. So you guys understand out there that are interested is we have to make sure that when we set you free, if you make it that far and we set you free and full patch you, that you are a self-sufficient. I mean, we do have some oversight, but for the most part,
not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot. We trust that you will handle business as necessary. And if you do bring anybody new into your chapter, that I'm not ever going to question that person.
You and I'd have to retire if we were going to keep that close control on everybody.
Exactly.
If we couldn't do our regular jobs, there's no way.
That's why we make sure our screening process, which is what we're talking about, is absolutely to the T. We have procedural and all our policies in place in exactly the way we do that. So just understand that that's why it's such a process, is because if we do set you on your own, you truly pretty much on your own. And you understand the values and goals of this club. So you have anything to say about that, Oscar? You got to jump in, brother, if you have anything to say.
Amen.
All right. You want to read any more Bible verses? Or
Thank you, Reverend.
Yeah, you guys might need it later, but I'm good for now.
All right. So let's move on. We're doing good, actually. We're getting a lot of information in. So yeah, 4 to 6, and then we would allow you to be. And then, like I say, there's all kinds of things we have you do. And then if you make all that stuff, and especially as the farther chapters are away or support crews, you have to understand that you will become, and the Sworn Few had a little problem with this, but that's part of their process, is you're going to have to become a little technical and have some technical.
Oh, you said the Sworn Few. You mean the Big River had a little bit of problem?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, no
the
problem.
Big River had a few problems with that, and they're still not extremely technological.
But they used their resources.
They did.
They reached out and found a father-in-law or somebody that could help them out with
They did.
doing their video, and their video is pretty awesome.
They had problems getting their Facebook page up.
If you haven't had a chance to, I'm pretty proud of our video, but they had somebody that had some professional experience.
Plus, he had a GoPro.
Yeah. So, go check them out anyways. They did a really nice job. I'm proud of those guys for doing that.
So the farther away you are, the more technical you're going to have to be, because that is how we communicate with you. That is how we keep tabs on you. That is how we want to see what you're about. And so just understand, we do use a lot of technology, and that's just something, whether you have it, then find somebody that can teach you, because you will learn it. And if you can't, then it's not going to happen, because
we got to see, we got to know. So.
Yep. We got to be attached to you, and that's the only way from a long distance relationship that we can do that. So that would be another requirement. Where are we going now? Oh gosh.
You steer the show, and I'll follow you.
Okay. What we so like I say, we are open to adding the highest quality of members, and that's what we mean by true brothers. So it's not that we're not interested. We are, but like I say, I think it's going to be a lot easier for people to listen to this episode than read a boring email. So, yeah, we've talked about moving forward. Let's see. Unfortunately, here's one thing I want to talk about and hit on, and maybe you guys can chime in on this. But we see, and it's unfortunate that I see, and I'm not going to talk to or put in this little envelope other law-abiding biker clubs. Okay. I'm specifically, this particular area, I am going to get straight down to LEMC clubs.
Okay.
And unfortunately, and I think it's fair, both of you, and we've talked about it, is that I absolutely, and we see too many LEMCs, law enforcement motorcycle clubs. It is growing way too fast, and
I like fast.
Speak first.
You've been hanging down south of the Gap, haven't you?
Yeah, I have, dude.
That's an inside joke.
It's fast. Well, anyways, they're growing too fast, and membership is coming way too easily. And I will not look down on those clubs at all. I just want you guys to know I'm not arrogant. It's just my personal inside belief that when you grow that fast, and I know if we grew that fast, and you've seen it, we're seeing it where it causes problems, and you cannot keep control when you grow that fast. And I don't know why a lot of these clubs think that they need to grow that fast.
I think they find a legitimacy in numbers. If there's a large number of people belonging to that organization, it must be all right. If it's if it's 4 guys off on their own, maybe there's something wrong with those guys. That's what I think, is that if they have a bunch of people that belong to it, they feel there's some legitimacy in their numbers.
I guess that's a way to look at it. But
how do you see it?
Well, I don't. It's a whole nother episode about why we're seeing so many clubs pop up, and I have it on the list of things. But to dive into it, just a little bit is
Just put our toes in the water.
just dip our pinky toe in the water on this one.
How would you put your pinky toe in before your big toe? That takes talent.
Well, you
If you guys did yoga, you'd be
big toe's
flexible
much-
enough
Right.
to do that.
if we did sweat yoga or whatever he does. I don't know what he calls it.
Whoa.
Puts his leotard and his G-string on and goes and does.
How do
yoga.
you know that? I keep my shades drawn.
I know everything. How do you think you got part of this club, man? I know
Wow.
everything.
That's right.
As long as it doesn't hit YouTube, it's all good.
That was part of the background.
No pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, jeez. But yeah, so we just see way too many LEMCs, and it just, and you're starting to see a few hit the news, and that is an exact what I believe. And if you're a law enforcement club out there listening, and you are one of the big ones, I'm okay with it. I don't dislike you. I'm not arrogant. I'm just trying to explain why we believe and why we started the way we did. It certainly doesn't mean we don't like you or we think we're better than you. It's just we had a extremely, I guess, I don't know the word, but we had such a vision on how we wanted things to go when we started this from the drawing board.
We're not the first one to start, and so we had the luxury of seeing mistakes that other
There
clubs
go.
have made. From the incidents or just et cetera. I'm not going to talk about particular clubs, but there's been mistakes that have happened over the years that have put a bad light on LEMCs. We want to put a good light on it. So, we try to avoid the big rallies where we know there's going to be 1%ers at. We don't go, put all our gear on a ride down to the local bar and look for trouble. We really avoid that. For us, it's about riding and being together.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're not going to be, we know there's too many dirt bags in our local bars in our town. When we go out of town, we'll go in some nice, establishments, but
yeah, we purposely pick ones that we know we're not going to find any trouble.
I'm purposely not going to go down.
Not going to get in trouble at Applebee's, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're not going to go in the towns we live in. We arrest a lot of those people anyways, and then we're not going to walk in there off duty. And I don't want to be, we've talked about it in past episodes, I don't want to be around those people anyways. So it's just, we're very, very careful and cautious about where we, we're not afraid to wear our colors anywhere, and we do. And when we go on out-of-state rides, we wear them proudly wherever we go. But we're not going to purposely put ourselves in a bar that we know there's a lot of crap heads in, or go to a huge event where we know it's a 90% of people are going to be 1%ers. I don't want to be around those people.
And if you go too fast, you might accept people that want to do that. And I think that's what we're getting at is, if you grow too fast and you don't spend the time getting to know people, you might bring somebody into your club that doesn't have the same vision as you and would like to throw their cut on and go hang out at the local turret establishment.
They might have watched Devil's Ride a few too many times.
Oh, can you believe that's coming back?
And
We won't get
it's
into
already
it.
back.
Oh, Lord.
They've already
awesome.
Shut up, dude. No, it's not.
From a prospective member status, the reverse so you guys are talking about the club trusting its members.
Right.
And I'm telling you from a prospective member status, the reverse is also true with a small, tight club. And so I can trust you guys. And so that I know when we go wherever Lurch plans a trip, I know it's going to be fine. Where you get a huge crew, you don't necessarily know everyone, and you end up somewhere and you're like, what the heck is going on around here? And you don't know who to trust because this guy took us here. You're like, so I know from the flip side, from a member,
right,
the small, tight crew, I trust you guys. And so I'm not afraid to follow our leader, vice president, or whatever, wherever, because it's small and tight enough. Get too many members, you don't know what's going on.
Absolutely. And with that, I'll say that there's just no way when you're growing that fast that you can properly screen your members. It's not possible. It takes time if you're going to properly screen a member and you're going to hang with them and really get to know them. And I just want to emphasize that we don't look down. There are a lot of big clubs out there. That's just the way they choose to do things, and this is strictly how we do things. So people know if you want to sign up with us at some point, if you think you're going to sign up with us, then you know what to expect, and our ideologies, some of our ideologies.
You can expect me to be involved, and I expect you to be involved. That's some of the problems we see with the larger groups is people join just to join, and you might have 60 members, but 10 of them are involved and active. So,
amen.
I appreciate the fact that I can count on any of you guys to get the job done.
Yep, and and be at a certain amount of rides, and you're not just going to be on a paper around here, or you're gone.
We know you're going to miss some rides because we have rotating shifts. We have families. You have to the big trips. You got to get the vacation time. I mean, it's difficult, but I know that everyone in my club likes to ride, and that's why we're the main reason that we're together.
Absolutely. Well said. So yeah, we just have a very clear vision about what we're about and where we're going. And so just be prepared for that if you want to, if you do make it even into hang around status. We just absolutely, my number one goal is to protect this club's reputation and integrity. I don't want it in the news.
No.
And I absolutely will at all costs. And I do want to touch really quick, and if you're not involved and if you happen to make it, which you probably wouldn't if you weren't involved, we have very, very strict bylaws in place that you will, yes, we make account for people's shifts and family obligation without getting into our bylaws, which we wrote from scratch. I mean, and we're still making a few changes, and it's almost been a year or a little over a year. Because we want to have things to follow for the future. And
you hit on it earlier. I mean, we're fairly militaristic. I mean, we have our positions. You're the president, I'm the vice president, and so on and so forth. That you and I have been friends for a long time, but you're still the president of this club. I follow your direction. I hold a different rank than you do in my job. That doesn't matter. You're the president. I don't care if I was a chief of police. You're president of this club, so that's important. The guys understand that hierarchy and leave your work at work, and when you're here, you're the president, and we expect you to follow the bylaws. We expect you to follow the direction of your president and your vice president and your officers.
Absolutely, and that was well said. Is we're all friends, but when push comes to shove and there's something that's serious or we need to take care of business, then it's chain of command.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter. You just follow it, and we can talk about it later at a meeting, but at that time, you'll follow it. Because
and if you're off on left field, we'll just vote you out.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Or leave you out in left field right away.
Right. Yeah. Oh God. But yeah, I guess, I don't know if there was anything else on that I wanted to cover.
I think you hit it all. I'm looking at the notes here, and
yeah, well,
you make copious show notes.
I do.
Yeah.
There is this was an important
you guys
one.
love that word.
He loves that word.
It shows up over and over.
Yeah, he loves that word. We throw it back at him. Just him.
Yeah.
He loves the word copious.
You guys kept saying cock too, and I was like cock and copious together.
So here he goes.
Are you talking about the dog, the cockapoo?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think I was talking about?
Oh, I have no idea. I think you're talking about the dog.
High level maturity here, please.
Just making sure.
Yeah, there is none of that here. But I will say, if you do, something. Oh, you know what I want to talk real quick about? We do still have some stuff to cover. We're doing really good on time. We're going to be about right on.
Perfect.
We're
getting pretty good at this.
We are talking about militaristic.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Not only is it chain of command, but you will notice that the Sworn Few LEMC, we talked about writing and your writing skills and how we go into events. It all goes down to also, if you want to be a part of this club, just understand we have very, very strict policies, or bylaws, I should say, that you will wear your vest a certain way. You're not going to come in this club and look like a Christmas tree with pins and patches wherever you want to put them. And, you see some of these, and that's okay. I'm not disrespecting any of those people that do that. That's the way you run your club, and that's the way you want to look. Here, we wanted a very, very clean-cut, professional look. So yes, your patches will be in an exact specified area per our bylaws, and they will be X amount of inches above your left breast pocket. You will wear one type of vest, and you will not wear any other kind of leather vest. All vests we all look exactly the same, except some of us have officer patches.
Yep.
Other than that, there's no bling. There's no flash. It is tight looking. If you want to belong to a tight looking club, that's what we're about. We're not about all looking different and looking like slobs. We just aren't. We are professionals. And yeah, we grow our beards out on trips, and I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. What I'm talking about is the way we look. It's very militaristic. So if that's not something you want, and you want to do whatever you want with your vest and put your Christmas tree ornaments on it, then this isn't the club for you. Anything else, Matt?
I concur.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was taking a swallow.
He took a swallow at a very bad time. But so only those that have truly sought, I would say, and obtained full SFM membership will ever feel that kind of pride and brotherhood. And I dare to say and I really do. It can't be put into words, but I dare to say that if you make it to full patch membership in this, it will be as exciting or likely more exciting than the day you graduated the academy, the police academy.
Oh, come on. It's way more exciting.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Police
It brought
Academy
more
is-
pride. This club brings, and I mean, it's a big accomplishment. But that's just me. That's my opinion. I
It's
I
up there
dare
for-
throw that
it's
out
up
there.
But
And I graduated the same academy
Yeah.
you did.
Oh, yeah.
Even though we're not now with the same
Right,
agencies.
right.
I dare to say
that
it
was a big deal. But this is huge.
because we made this.
That's what I was getting at. This is
Somebody
huge
else
for us.
made that.
Right. That's what I was getting at. I didn't quite get there before you rudely interrupted me.
Sorry. Apologize.
I was going to say it's because that we were so involved and we built it that we have that huge pride in it. But we hope to, through our processes, make sure that everybody else does too.
Yep. And
It was awesome.
that's why we're doing this podcast, because that's how organized we are. Is we're going to have a podcast to send people to that are interested in our club. So let's talk about real quick nomads a little bit. Matt, why don't you touch on that? Oscar?
Oh, go ahead, Oscar.
Who wants to be? I don't get the nomad thing. I want to be tied to a group of guys. I want to be tied to an area. I want to show my pride in my area and my club. We don't take nomads.
Right.
You got to show some commitment to your area.
And we're a brotherhood. That's the number one thing about the Sworn Few LEMC is we're a true brotherhood. How can you be a brotherhood
If you're by
if you're a
yourself?
loner? And I'm sorry if you're in an area. I really am. And you're by yourself. That sucks. And I feel, and there are some really good people that will probably make really good club members.
Yeah.
But they're not close to a chapter, or they're in such a desolate area that they can't find,
Three other
other brothers to ride with. Now, saying that, there are a few exceptions to that, but I will say for the most part, even some desolate areas around this place in Washington State, you can have a chapter that can consume 4 counties. It depends where you live in those counties. So you can't tell me that you can't find 3 other guys within 100 square miles. Because you could start a chapter that way. You just have to be, selective about who you're going to try to do that with, because it's all or none. We don't do the, if when you're starting a support crew in a possible chapter, we don't. It's all. So you better bring what I'm getting at really simply put is if you team up with 4 guys like you're required to 4 to 6. You better trust those guys, because if one screws it up, none of you make it.
Yeah.
It is, and that's part
It's
of
a
the
package
team
deal when you come in
work.
as a chapter.
We want to see how you work with each other, and we want to, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, and really, I mean, if you got a fairly large area you're drawing some members from, oh no, you got to ride to meet each other.
Right.
Duh, that's what I want to do.
Absolutely.
I mean, I want to ride all I can.
And we're going to pause real quick because we're getting some outside noise, and we'll be right back with you guys. All right, guys. Sorry about that. We had to pause real quick. But anyways, back to what he was saying. Oscar was saying, yeah, even like me and Lurch, we live in the same county, but we're how far away, Matt?
We're not mileage wise. We're really not that far away, but there's no quick way to get from my house to
Right.
your house. It's a good 40 minutes,
Right.
45 minutes.
So we're talking about Oscar, and we're talking some of the points he brought up and about, tri-county or quad county, chapter members. It's okay, as long as you can get together and all that. So, I there are a few exceptions, I'm sure, up in desolate areas of Alaska and stuff, it's difficult,
Sure.
but so there are some exceptions to that, but unfortunately we don't make exceptions for nomads. We just simply are built on brotherhood, and we're not going to stray from that. And you can't have brotherhood when you're by yourself. And so I apologize if you're interested in the nomad. You can email all you want. It will never happen. And it is in our bylaws. It will never happen within the Sworn Few LEMC, a nomad of any kind. So, all right, got that information out there. Yeah, what's next, Matt?
In the notes, it's what you need to get started. But we've already talked about that, but I can reiterate real quick to keep it in line. Is that
and that's fine. We can throw it out there.
Okay, you need 4 to 6, 4 minimum, 6 maximum true brothers, guys that you really want to hang out with, guys you want to ride with, guys you want to go on a vacation with for a week and ride, guys that you can call when you need help, guys that you want to talk to and hang out to, and not just a coworker, a true brother. And you'll need to get together, and you're going to start off as a support crew, which we talked about. After we do a hang around period, then we'll as a group we'll decide if we're going to want you to be a support crew. And there's no time on the hang around status time. There's no time on the support group time. The only time limit there is on the prospective chapter.
And it's a minimum time.
It's a minimum time. The reason we did that is because we didn't want to rush into it. Even though we liked the North crew pretty quickly, and even Oscar and Chewy, we liked them too.
You loved us.
Yeah, we honestly probably could have voted you in earlier, but that may not always be the case, and so we want to have that safeguard. We want that minimum 6 months time. So expect that you're going to need to get a group together. You're going to need to contact us. Assuming that we like what we see and talking to you, then we're going to need to get to know you. If you're far away, that's going to be through social media.
And the phone a lot. We're going to be on the phone a lot with you.
Skype and Facebook and whatever else. And get
Google
to know
Hangouts.
you.
We'll use Google Hangouts. Yep.
Yeah. And then if that all goes well,
what are you laughing about?
He doesn't know what a Google Hangout is.
What did LD say at the meeting? Or who said?
Talking to your microphone.
Why can't we just have a real hangout or back?
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what
because I said we're going to use Google
Hangouts.
Yeah, and we don't use them here locally at all, but we will use Google Hangouts for distance chapter so we can all talk. Go ahead, Matt.
Back to what I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted.
Lo siento,
by the treasurer.
Senor.
De nada.
You're welcome.
We move into that support chapter, and that's where we expect you to put on the sport gear. Go out and ride. Show us what you're about. Show us your type of brotherhood. Make sure it's our type of brotherhood, and show your ability to hang out, get together, do things, support the club that you want to be a part of. And then the next would be moving into a probationary chapter status, and that's minimum of 6 months. And then if you successfully pass that, then you become full members of this club.
Yep, and like I say, it may be a year, but it'll be a minimum of 6 months. Just depends how hard you work. And the harder you work, then the quicker you may get it.
And distance may make it longer.
Yep.
Because it'll take longer for us to get to know you. With our guys that joined the mother chapter here, they're in the same town. We got to know them quickly, and we already knew them. Most of us knew the guys from past experience. And then the North crew the Big River crew were only 2 hours away, so we were able to get to know them quicker. So it's possible. I'm not saying it's the case, but it's possible if you're on the East Coast, it may take longer just because we need to get to know you.
Very true. Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, hopefully this episode, and we're right at, cool. We're right at, we had to pause for a minute, but we're really close to an hour. Let's just have a round table real quick. I guess, if you are interested in this, now that you've listened to this episode and you really are like, that sounds like I want to be part of that club. I want to be part of that brotherhood. I want that patch. I like what I see. I want to know more. Feed me. I'm hungry.
Feed me, Seymour.
Yeah. If you want to be fed more information, then at this point, it would be appropriate to email us, and we need your full name. And I don't want to talk to somebody I don't know their full name, and your full phone number. And you can do that all privately on our swornfewlemc.com/contact page. And a mother chapter officer will call you and have a nice long chat to get to know you and answer any follow-up questions that you may have about the club, and do the back and forth, because we're not going to do it via email.
And we're not trying to scare everybody
Absolutely
away.
Not.
We're not trying to convince you not to approach us or be part of our club. We just want to let you know what you're in for, because we want nothing but true brothers, people that we can rely on and count on, and we want you to know what you're in for. So if what we're saying sounds good to you, I'd love to get some more brothers and get some more club members.
Well,
but we're not going to rush into it.
I have a cool story to share. Just take a minute.
Go for it.
Summer ride this year. Now, I didn't know any of the North Crew guys before I joined the club.
Big River chapter, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this was all brand new to me. We rode, what was that lake we rode in Idaho? We had to take the detour. And I rode bar to bar on this twisty. Now, this is not like riding I've ever done. I rode bar to bar on this twisty, and it was amazing. The guy bar to bar with me, I didn't have to worry about anyone. I mean, we took some tight corners, and we hit a flat spot. We were waiting for, I don't know, we were waiting for something. We got off, and I looked at my brother, and he says, "Man, that was awesome." And I said, "That was great." Having that kind of confidence, because he had been vetted by the club. We're all riding the same. We're all riding hard. And
you're probably waiting for me to catch up.
I don't think so. I think I were waiting for the burrito joint to open because I was hungry, and that happens sometimes.
That might have been it. Yeah, it is. It's an awesome feeling to ride with brothers like that. You totally trust that you can ride at that speed, handlebar to handlebar. And like I say, we do a lot of ride stuff.
The kind of guy that if God forbid you fall asleep, he'll reach over and just grab your handlebar or keep your bike upright.
Absolutely.
That kind of guy?
That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, it like I say, we just, I guess, like I said, please don't take this episode as arrogant in any way. The people that listen to this podcast regularly and know us know that, we try to be humble guys. We're just so thankful that you guys listen to this podcast and support us and the donations and all that. It is just simply the way we run our club, but it doesn't mean we look down on anybody if you run it different, or if you have different ideologies. Those are ours, and we're not going to change our ideologies for this club. And we just want you to know, if somebody does, I guess the point is, if somebody does make it to even support crew, we want you to know and be determined and make it to that special event of getting fully patched and becoming, because then you just, we can't explain it to people. You'll never know. And we can't put it in words unless you became a full brother of the Sworn Few LEMC. So,
but it was worth it.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. And so yeah, I guess we just don't want guys to get started in something that they're not fully aware of what they're getting involved with. But yeah, if you want to put in the time and you want to be dedicated and you want to wear this patch, then yeah, we will certainly give you step-by-step instructions on how to do that. All right, round table. What do you got, Oscar, before we close out?
I'm a little sweaty right now.
It's a little warm in here.
I'm just sweaty.
That's a big dip you put in, I'll tell you that.
Thinking about you guys.
You don't sweat, you glisten.
Yep.
I got nothing.
And I will say, people are going to listen to this for a long time in the future, and the permalink is going to be Law Abiding Biker. So understand, it will be lawabidingbiker.com/chapter request. That will be the permalink. If you guys want to listen to it again, you can hit that. If you're interested in it for your club, you can, send it to your members, whatever. That will be the permalink from now on.
You forgot the www.
We're not
World Wide Web.
LD was not
Magic
here
box.
today, so I was hoping we
Web.
wouldn't have to do the www.
I can. Are we wrapping up?
Yeah, we're doing round table.
Okay, here's my round table. Here's my little pearl of wisdom. If it came down to it, bikes, no bikes, patch, no patch, I've met some guys that have become part of this crew that would still be my friends, they'd still be my brothers. That's a true sign for me that we're doing the right thing. Because I don't care if I didn't have a bike, I don't care if I was part of this club. The guys from the Big River crew, I'd still want to hang out with. I still want to sit around, tell stories, and drink with. Those are the kind of guys that we brought into this club, and that's how I know it's working.
Yep, and guys with integrity, and guys that are, professional enough that they're not going to get. Of course, we can let our hair down when we're off duty,
but we're not going to do anything stupid. We're not going to do anything that's going to ruin this club.
Yep, we don't want to be on the front page or the second page or the third page of the paper.
Anywhere in the paper.
Anywhere.
I love you guys.
Love you too, brother.
And if we were in the paper, you would not want to see Oscar's picture. No. Speaking of, I got to get a picture tonight, bro. Because you're the only one I don't have a picture of. I got to do the whole crew.
And he wore such a nice shirt today, too. A nice little button-up shirt.
Fabio in the late 90s, you can use that picture. It's fine.
Yeah, dude.
I don't have the hair, but the rest is the same.
You look real nice.
I was thinking more of Mr. Clean, but...
Yeah.
So that was one of your prospective nicknames for a while.
It was, actually.
Until the garbage can incident.
Until the Oscar garbage can incident.
So, I don't remember.
Thank you guys so much for your support. I'm sorry we didn't get to any emails or voicemails. We do have a ton of voicemails, a ton of emails. We have... just a lot of stuff I want to get to. So if you donated, thank you. I will put your name out there on future episodes, but we just wanted to jam-pack this full, which we did. I hope it was entertaining. I hope it was informational, and I hope
educational. What's your word?
It's infotainment.
Infotainment.
I hope it was informational. I hope it was entertaining. Therefore, I hope it was infotaining.
Nice.
All right. So yeah, with that, guys, peace out, and thanks for tuning in. And we love all you guys, and check back with us for the next episode. Let's take it out, boys. Lab phone number, do you remember off the top of your head? Anybody?
759.
Yeah, you don't know.
Damn it.
Anyways,
Nice try.
Yeah,
Usually
so-
it's at the end of the notes. I
We-
haven't memorized it yet.
do have a phone number for the Law Abiding Biker podcast, and you can leave a voicemail message. We may play it on an episode. 509-731-3548. You can also hook up with us at lawabidingbiker.com/voicemail. You can leave an internet voicemail or /voice message. Either way, you can send a voice message via the internet with your computer, speakers, or microphone. You can also just go to lawabidingbiker.com/contact, where you can send us an email, or there you have an option to send us a voicemail too. There's no reason you can't get a hold of us, and trust me, people are. And like I say, I apologize. We are just getting to the point where we're getting a little bigger, and I'm humbled by that, and thank you guys so much for that. But I'm trying to get to all the emails, and I do answer you. I just can't get them all on the episode at this point.
Hopefully we might be ready to take on another chapter now that we've
Yeah, right.
got one under our belt and
Yep.
focus on one.
We've experienced it, and we got our protocols in place, and so we're good to go. Don't forget to join the Law Abiding Biker email club, and that's lawabidingbiker.com/email club. You will be the first. We will not spam you whatsoever. I only send an email now and then, and you'll get special promo codes for stuff, and you'll be the first to know about any free videos I put out. But trust me, I will only send information that I think you want, and it's not very often. So lawabidingbiker.com/email club. Rate us on iTunes and Stitcher Radios. Peace out. Keep the rubber side down.
And the shiny side up.
True that.